Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is chapter 41 of Shattered Image, and this one is titled The Hate in This Chapter. Sero started laughing while you were screaming, and then waited till the last minute and shot his tape out again, only just catching you before you spearheaded into the street, and you took a deep breath in and then started laughing manically with him. Again! You shouted, still laughing manically. Okay, well, she seems to like it at least, he thought, as he aimed his tape at a higher point the next time and attached to swing you both really high. Up you both swung, tears being forced into your and his eyes as the cold wind whipped past your face. But the adrenaline was amazing and it matched what you felt if you went hunting, so you leaned into it, screaming and laughing as you released all that angst inside of you. At the height of the swing, Sero recalled his tape and you both free fell, with him still holding onto you, of course. You swung through town, repeating the stomach-dropping fall over and over until you got to the other end of town, and he swung you both up onto the top of a tall department store and dropped you both off so he could take a break. Bro, you good? You joked when he finally let go of you and placed his hands on his knees, panting heavily and trembling a little. Yeah, I'm good. You're just heavy, he replied cheekily with a dismissive hand wave. Pfft, liar, you replied. You already told me that I was light, no takebacks. Okay. He laughed, plopping down on the roof there. That's me. I'm just unfit. Again, liar, you said as you crouched down in front of him and tilted your head to the side, looking low-key cute, but you were trying to look hard. You literally just carried me for how long? You can take a break. You might not look stacked, but you low-key are. Sero looked at you. I wasn't trying to compliment you. I'm just stating facts. Jeez, no need to look at me like that, you said, mildly flustered as you looked away. Oh, I've been trying to work on my abs, so, he said, reaching for the bottom of his shirt and lifting it a little, showing just a small portion of his lower abs that were definitely there as he looked down at them. Ugh, you replied playfully, rolling your eyes as you let your tongue hang out. Pack it away. Oh, you're not into abs? He asked curiously. No, well, I mean, they're whatever. I don't know why, you spluttered, crossing your arms across your chest and resting them on your knees as you remained crouched. I don't know. I just want to know what you like, he asked, still sitting there looking at you. Why? Stop being weird, you weirdo, you shot back at him, feeling funny in your tummy from all these pointed questions. Well, I like girls in hoodies, Sero said as he tried to look away nonchalantly. You suddenly felt very self-conscious in his hoodie and stood up and walked to the edge of the building and sat down with your feet hanging over the edge, one knee up so you could rest your arm along it. Yeah, well, you wouldn't take this one back, so what am I supposed to do? You replied. And it's warm as heck. Where did you buy this? I need to get one of my own. No, you don't, he said as he crawled over and sat down next to you, dangling his legs off the side of the building next to yours. That's your hoodie now, anyway. Yeah, okay, it looks better on me anyway, you replied cheekily, giving him a smirk as you punched your knuckles into his arm, somewhat firmly but playfully. Sero was pushed slightly by your punch and chuckled. You're really not afraid to be sitting this close to the edge, hey? He commented, looking down at the very far away, very small street below. Yeah, not when you're right beside me, you replied, looking at him again. Doesn't matter where you are, I'll always come to you, he said honestly, and you looked away and cleared your throat. Oh man, bro is coming on very strong tonight, or am I just reading into things? You thought, keeping silent. Sero sighed a little and rested his hands back behind himself, looking up and out over the lights of the city below. You two followed suit, your hand accidentally touching his as you rested back. Move your damn hand, you joked, lifting your hand to poke the back of his. Nah, he replied with a cheeky look in his eye, refusing to move his hand. Okay, fine, you replied, intentionally smacking your hand down onto his and mashing his hand into the flooring. Ah, he hissed playfully. More, he joked. I like the pain. Not gonna lie, that kind of did something for you, so in your flustered state you quickly smacked him in the front part of his elbow and it bent his arm so he fell into you. Watch it, you snapped playfully, while he let out a little noise of surprise, making you fall sideways as well. He chuckled as he sat himself back up again. So, you ready for school tomorrow? He asked, changing the subject so it wasn't awkward just sitting on the roof randomly touching each other's arms and hands. Well, you're going to be there, so it's fine, I guess, he replied. I just don't want to talk to anyone. Then don't, he replied with a shrug. You don't have to. Yeah, no, I won't, but I just don't want to have to answer the questions like, where were you? What happened? Are you okay? Ugh, you groaned. It's so annoying. Yeah, but that's your personal life. They won't be like that, I promise. He replied with a smile. Sero had access to the class chat, which he hadn't even mentioned to you yet. One, because so much had happened that was the last thing on his mind, and two, he didn't think that you would want to join it anyway, but he was going to pitch it to you eventually when you were ready. But all of that aside, he decided he was going to take matters into his own hands and contact the class, asking them to just treat you like normal so that you wouldn't feel like you had been backed into a corner. You grunted, crossing your arms across your chest. Sero let the silence hang for a second before asking his next question. I know I just said that your personal life is none of anyone else's business, but did you want to talk about what's in the folder? You kind of spiraled a little, and I don't blame you. I'm here for you if you need to talk about any of it, he said kindly. Bro, I don't even know, he replied angrily. Where do I even start? Like, I've been told nothing about my quirk, and then my dad just walks in and trauma dumps on me, and then all of a sudden I have all this information about my dad's side of the family, and I don't even know where to start. Wait, your dad trauma dumped on you? Sarah asked with surprise. What did he say? Bro, you just want the tea, you joked to him, giving him a sly look. Sarah chuckled. No, but I'm low-key curious, he said. But you don't need to tell me. Get this though, old mate just walked in, told me that he'd been abused his whole life, and then just up and pissed off like, hello, you said, throwing your hands up in the air. Whoa, Sarah said with surprise. Way to trauma dump and run. Right? The hell, you grumbled. And then I opened the folder and it's got all these names and stuff, and pretty much all of them are deceased, and everything is shrouded in serious mental health complications, and you groaned, slapping your hands to your cheeks and dragging them down your face. I just thought that if I disappeared now, it'd just end everything quickly. No, you can't think like that, Sero said, reaching out to place his hand on your arm, and you looked at him. For one, I need you. I told you that before, but I'm dead serious. You blinked and looked away. And two, your mum, he added. Yeah, you sighed. Well, to be honest, you and mum are the reason I want to stay. Sero smiled and removed his hand from your arm and then stood up. Did I help a bit with flying you around today? He asked, extending his hand to you to get you to stand up with him. Actually, you said as you took his hand and let him pull you up to standing. Yeah, weirdly. Sero grinned proudly. Good, he replied. See, my quirk is the best for this type of thing. You smirked. Stop getting ahead of yourself, you're not that cool. You placed your hands on his chest and pushed him playfully, making him step back closer to the edge of the building. You want a free fall with me? One more time, before I take you back home? We shouldn't stay out too late. I don't want to get in trouble for kidnapping you and throwing you all over town, he said with a little chuckle. What to do with these two. Stay tuned for chapter 42 coming tomorrow. See you then.